So suppose, for example, we have a ship in the Arctic and it goes missing. So there's a distress call that goes out, and then search begins. So you have all of the sort of traditional search parameters that the Coast Guard undertakes with aircraft and with ships. Ships in the area, of course, they'll converge. Really, time is of the essence. We want to be able to figure out, okay, where could this ship be? If it's lost power, where could it have drifted to? If it has begun to sink, where are the currents, where are the tides taking it? The project is the Arctic All-Hazards webGIS project. Our main function here is to create and build a webGIS platform that is going to be usable for all hazard situations for the U.S. Coast Guard, specifically D17, District 17, and Sector Anchorage. It's something that's usable for folks who are going to be on ships or aircraft or at headquarters, and it will display information. It'll have static layers, and then it'll have dynamic layers, so real-time or near real-time information, and all of that will be compiled together. So effectively what an analyst or an operator will be able to do is really get accurate real-time information or near real-time information. So as accurate and as current and present as they possibly can get. Weather conditions, the AIS, so ship tracking, all of that is going to come into play, and it's going to be very important when you're doing sort of when you're trying to do a recovery operation. So we expect that our application will be something that you can use for those kinds of situations and those kinds of purposes. So the main impacts will be in information fusion and information dissemination. Currently, there are a lot of ad hoc processes in place for ways to get information to or from people. What we're building will be ideally a one-stop shop where someone can log in, get the geospatial data that they're interested in, view the geospatial data, make maps if they need to make static maps, and then use those for whatever hazard situation or normal operating situation that they find themselves. The project is really important because basically what we're going to be providing is best practices, state-of-the-arts, and a more basic research portion of the project is going to be really related to the sort of our fundamental understandings of how people look at web pages, how people look at web maps, and really what are best practices for user interfaces? What are the best practices for visualization? Depending on the user, depending on where they are, what kind of situation they're in, whether they're on a cutter or whether they're on an aircraft or at headquarters, wherever they're located and whatever their hazard is, we want to provide the best user experience possible. And I see that as the real challenge and the real interesting bit of the project. Primarily, the people impacted by this project are going to be the U.S. Coast Guard writ large, but specifically it'll be D17, Sector Anchorage, and then Coast Guard headquarters. Anyone affiliated with the Arctic domain will be capable of having access to this project and to the web application that we're building. We expect that state, local, tribal officials who have an interest will also be able to get access as well. And really anyone in the Arctic domain community who D17 Sector Anchorage believes needs access should be able to get access. It's my sincere hope that this project becomes something that perpetuates, so that basically this gets into sustainment territory. So ideally, as I see it, myself and my team will develop and transition this product with the help of the Geospatial Management Office, and then it will become something that is wholly operated by the Coast Guard and utilized by the Coast Guard. And really my sort of dream out of this will be that if we're successful with Sector Anchorage and D17, that this is a web application that can be used on a daily basis and that is useful when there's a hazard, when we're in sort of standard state, steady state operations, and that it's something that perpetuates and continues to exist.